Hey, how's it going? So I'm back from camping. I barely made it up there. There's this little hill over there where if you climb up or go around, there used to be like sort of a metal sort of base type thing underground there. They used to do the whole torture stuff and everything up there. So when I got up there, my shoes gave way or whatever. Basically, got tired. My stomach started hurting when I got to the top. Basically just went to the bathroom and said, I got the hot dogs or whatever, should I come back down? It doesn't really make any sense. We've had manslaughter here. I had manslaughter in Los Angeles. Secret Service doesn't make any sense. Said you can't go to California because the black and white gang or whatever in Los Angeles on Sycamore, they come into your house, you basically kill them, take care of them or whatever, and then they say, don't go back to California. Well, the same thing happened here, right? We kept getting people coming in because they're letting people go up here and build some underground channel, chamber, dungeon thing or whatever. They come out, they climb up on the roof, or they hit the front door, stuff like that. So same thing eventually happened here, People come in, they do stuff over and over. Finally, you kill them or whatever. So you got manslaughter here, manslaughter there. Secret Service says I can't go to California because of manslaughter or whatever. So it just ends up being totally stupid. I mean, I don't exactly know, remember what happened, right? Like, you go and you stop something, and then some elk or something comes and eats the person, right? So, it just ends up being totally dumb. So, I had a buddy, Mark, Stefan. I don't know if he was living there or stuck in there or whatever. I guess if you fake your own death, you're going to die anyway. So I don't really know what happened. Sometimes I was driving in Vancouver by the river. I thought I saw him in a suit sitting somewhere looking away, like, oh, maybe he lived. Like, I don't know. I thought maybe we had kids, but like growing up, you'd say, well, we would never do that. We would never both be a donor or something like that. Not never, but just like it would be so weird or whatever. So I don't know what happened that night, when I finally had to go up there. I'm sure people in my family, we had to get, you get captured up there. They take you up there. They do whatever they want to do. Right? Finally, I can't remember what night it was. We just went up there. And I thought it was Mark was up there. I was like, well, what happened or whatever. And then they don't ever let go of those stupid places, right? I mean, it's like, why do you even have them? So eventually some people came in here, and finally you just break out. You just, get so mad or whatever. And, next thing I know, they're, out taking them out. We're taking people outside, and there's an elk out there. So whether they, you put them on the back of the elk and the elk runs off, or, they're laid out in the road for the elk. I don't really know, I mean, it just ends up being so stupid. I had $250 a week in Vancouver. I can't see my daughter. I come here, they cut it by 100. They want to starve people or whatever in Idaho. I mean, Washington, Iowa, wherever, man. The black and white gang, they're Latino, white, black, whatever. At the very end of it, they fucking come into my apartment or whatever. These guys are done. Basically kill those guys. I don't know how many of them there were. And then, get out of there. I had to leave, left the state. I'd already had all the problems with the neighbor or whatever, taking me down. We're going to do this sting operation or whatever. We want, participate, whatever. Waking me up the first night I moved into the apartment, crap like that. The superintendent, Michael Allen Hughes. I mean, who knows what these people were doing. So they were all linked to the Playboy Mansion, which had sort of an illegal road to get up there, but it was, less than 300 yards or 250 yards from my apartment, but you had to drive around to get there. There was a little Franklin Park was right there. I think the building's still there. It had a garage with a gate underneath. But why are we even in Idaho, right? If we got manslaughter in Idaho, why did the Secret Service say you can't live in Idaho, right? Can't live in California, can't live in Idaho, right? So just ends up being a stupid thing. So, and then all the rigmarole. Oh, these people, they were part of the community. I mean, they just rattle on about the community, whatever. You don't even know who they are, right? I mean, it's like, whatever's, man. So, still have the mail? I thought I gave this to my mom. We got Costco. We got J.P. Morgan. They're supposed to send it to, there's J.P. Morgan from Delaware, Newark. Send it to Kirkland. I thought I gave this to my mom. Talbots. John David Davidson, Blaine County Treasurer. I guess they pay taxes. Susan Coons, e-notices online. James Coons, Kansas Lane, Monroe, Louisiana, Chase. So, can't open it. Not that I want to. The bus schedule. Got a bunch of sodas and water. The water bottle. Honestly, I think this is Zane Hijazi's. His family's from here. I think his dad or his grandpa was Glenn Stevens, a professor at F&M. I went there right before Iowa was in January. First semester back to finish school was in the fall of 2002. So as you cross over to the new year, it's 2003. His professor was actually kind of a nice guy. He showed us his tax return, $400,000 or whatever. We had agents come in and try to talk to the class about whatever was going on. He did all the finance stuff, whatever the finance rules was about study and stuff. It kind of was going to end bad, right? If Iowa closes or whatever, you didn't really know. He had this big red Ford truck outside that he drove there, and it had kind of that graphite sort of paneling on it inside, on the interior. The only reason I know that because my dad in the late 90s bought a Porsche, a gray Porsche. We drove it down the coast. It had sort of the same inlay in it that Ford had in a sort of a red truck or whatever. So this was out on the road. I don't know why I thought it was Zane's. It had some old sticker on it and some type of coconut smoothie or something inside. So I rinsed the whole thing out, washed it because it had been there. So why don't I try to use it? So, but up here in Idaho, you see people's families, what they're doing. Stuff like that. But usually, they're not the ones getting all the breaches. People kicking in the door, stuff like that, sky high utility bills, all that crap. I don't know now. So much has changed, right? 18 years ago, I think somebody like Zane's, full military, stays in Idaho, lives on a base, operates, whatever the nuclear, stuff is or whatever, doesn't really come out. They lose, they screw up, they don't succeed, they come out, they start being a person. Eventually, nuclear totally goes away, so now you're basically on TV. So, but, I don't know if it actually means anything or not. Day to day, basically all the stuff I do now is operated before me. Whether I'm doing this or doing that, I'm not really making any decisions or choices that aren't known beforehand. So if somebody's got to talk to me or whatever, tell me something else to do, then they do it. But, so I just basically do stuff every day, It's like you either make it to Major League Baseball practice or you don't. People that I work with already know if I'm going to make it there or not. So, all that, I guess what I'm trying to say is all that stuff that had to be significant was in 2003. So, but to give all the people on that side, that who were part of that Stevens side or whatever, the Dale Fries and Glenn Stevens or whatever, a lot of the problems now is that they still think someone like me, everything they tell me I have to do, or you got to live here, you got to live there, or, climb this rock or eat at this restaurant, right? It's like they still think I have to do something significant, right? But you see, the thing is I already have 18 years ago. So there's nothing really for me else to do other than just sort of be. So, I don't really know what else to do beyond that. It's more up to those people to eventually come up with something if they have anything. But most of those people are so far from it, they're probably going to look to the mom side of that family, right? They need to have kids who are women and have other women and eventually try to have men who can try to accomplish something significant. But you're talking many generations, right? But in the meantime, somebody like me, right, which isn't very often, right? You got my dad, Jim, right, and me. And, we're basically just dealing with people's anger because, they wanted to build these underground facilities to kill people. And we stopped them. So, all they can do is shout and yell and say, you got to do something else significant, right? Like be homeless or go live in a homeless shelter or eat crappy food. I mean, like, whatever the place was, the new seasons or whatever. I go down to Portland with my EBT. Some jerk, he's mad, swipes it with poo or whatever. I mean, it's like, I don't have money, like I go home and put it in the oven eventually. I forget about it, because I don't know, right? People I work with maybe blind me or something, so I just do things anyway. But I mean, you get irritated. You're like, why is this even happening? This is so stupid, right? Like, you think I need to do something significant, right? Like, I need to operate some above nuclear command to remove bad stuff from food. Like I'm supposed to not be having diarrhea every night or whatever. I'm not supposed to be walking the streets. I'm not supposed to deal with some jerk off cop telling me I can't drive, right? The errors just go on and on and on. So, but I mean, it's stupid, really. So. So it's on Twitch. There's Joey. So I was just talking about his dad, Mark. See what he's talking about. See if he's got anything to say. There's also Tamarez. Rather actually watch Tamarez, but she does the same 4 dances over and over and over again, and she speaks in Portuguese. I think she's from Mexico, actually. Talk about being arrogant and mad. Some judge tells her, she's Mexican or whatever. She can't speak Spanish. She's got to speak Portuguese. It's back in the 90s or whatever. I mean, it's like, how ridiculous is that? I don't know. Let's watch Tamarez anyway. Oh, she ended. Okay. They didn't update the app. The guy's back from camping, clamming on the radio DJ studio. He's going to swear. I don't want to listen to him when he swears. He's Ice Agent Prime 1 right there.
doubled or tripled. It's far too loud. And so like it always scares me. I fucking hate it, dude. Every single.
All right, one of the mysteries of camping, putting carbonated beverage in a bottle that's sealed, it creates pressure and it usually loses the seal. So I put some ice in here, standard refrigerator ice. We're going to pour soda in. Now it's got this valve on top which screws. If you unscrew it, it opens. So, and there's a seal, like a rubber sort of plastic seal. You get in here, we're going to see if it holds. I don't know if it will or not. It's not even mine. I didn't even buy it. We won't use the expensive soda. We'll use, I do have Dr. Pepper. I got a Dr. Pepper. I got a Dr. K, which is basically the similar from Kroger. I got a Cherry Cola from Kroger, which is actually better than, in my opinion, most of the time better than Cherry Coke, but maybe technically not. And another one. So I thought the Cherry Cola from Big Kroger was actually better than the Cherry Cola, but the Dr. Pepper is better than the Dr. K. And the cola is different but similar. Sometimes I feel like either one, but usually choose Coke over generic cola. So we're going to go with the Dr. K. I don't want to use a Dr. Pepper, and I don't want to use either of the Cherry Colas. So it's the least favorite one of them. I'm going to pour it in here. And I won't necessarily going to show you. I just want you to do it by sound to see if you can hear the seal. So the carbonation is going to go on the extra fizz. I'm going to keep filling it. I don't know how many ounces it's got. Oh, it just barely doesn't overflow. It's pretty miraculous. And we'll keep filling it here. I don't think I can get a full 12 ounces in this with ice, but I may. I'm going to keep filling it. Okay, so it's almost up to the top. I can just barely not fill the entire thing. It's going to go just up to the top, and I got to put the lid on. So we're going to put the lid on, and I'm not going to shake it. See if you can hear it. It's just going to, the lid's just going to stay on tight. So we're going to hold that pressure in there. What I used to do with juice is fill it all the way to the top, and then that way you wouldn't get that air inside. But sometimes with these, I'm not that familiar with the lid. If the lid pushes any of the liquid inside down, like sometimes the lid comes down and the ice is there, whatever, and it basically runs down the side. I didn't want that to happen, so I have just a tiny bit in here. I'm not going to shake it or try to do anything bad with it. I'm just going to see if it holds. Of course, the carbonation will go down as it creates pressure in the container. And then as you release it, you'll hear it. And then either the soda sometimes, obviously, somehow is not as carbonated, which is basically one of those math type things that you can't really do as a person, right? If you open the can and you drank it, right, like I am this now, tastes lots of carbonation, right? That spritzer sort of seltzer carbonation that everybody likes, right? Carbonated water, right? You do the same thing in here, but you close the top. None of it can escape, but somehow it comes out of that soda anyway. I don't exactly know what that is. Maybe when the ice melts, there's water. I can't calculate that at all. To me, right, you think, well, if you seal it, and there's ice or whatever, it should be just like the soda. But I guess ice takes up more volume. As it melts, there's more liquid, which dilutes the soda and the carbonation of the carbonated water and creates volume, a loss of volume from the ice melting, which creates more space, which more of the carbonation can go into. It stays within the bottle, but it becomes now part of that loss of volume in the bottle. So when you go to have it later, it will be more flat, so to speak. So, and I think even beyond that, though, is the same is true if you just pour soda in there and seal it without ice. You know, if you refrigerate or keep it cold, somehow, inevitably, the carbonation goes down within the bottle, even though you don't have that large loss of volume with the ice. So, as it gets hot, you take this hiking or whatever, all that ice melts, right? You fit 12 ounces in I don't know how many, 24 ounces. So basically, ice takes up almost as much as one can, separated into a much larger space. So if you go hiking or whatever, you probably get 2.5 ounces of water from the ice, maybe. The rest is air. You'll basically have a watery flat can of soda. So if it gets hot, right, and the ice melts. Pain. All right, I'm going to end there. Hope you're doing good. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.